You cannot negotiate with a falling guillotine. When the heavy red wax seal of King Charles was torn open on the glass desk in Montecito, it wasn't a warning. It was the sound of a tomb door slamming shut. Day one of the 30-day death warrant began not with a scream, but with the lethal sound of reality. The cold, declined beep of an unlimited black credit card. Every financial artery from the United Kingdom has been severed. Outside on the manicured lawn, the private security detail is silently packing their gear and leaving. Their contracts have been unilaterally terminated and seized by the Crown. The warm California air has instantly frozen into a prison without bars. Harry and Meghan stand paralyzed in the middle of a $14 million mansion that is now a financial morgue, realizing a brutal truth. The Iron Era does not send ultimatums to wait for a surrender. The Iron Era sends ultimatums so you can count your final seconds before being permanently erased from history. February 25th, 2026. While the global media is paralyzed by the shocking arrest of Prince Andrew, a second, more lethal strike has just been detonated from within the walls of Windsor Castle. This is not a drill, and it is no longer a rumor. Meghan Markle's twisted Andrew Mountbatten Windsor plot has just been rumbled. As the world watches the disgrace of the Duke of York, King Charles III has used the absolute chaos as a smokescreen to sign what insiders are calling a constitutional death warrant for his second son, Prince Harry. The endgame has not just begun. I actually said, "What's going to happen, Meghan?" When they go through their, separation, whatever, and she comes out with a book or a show, whatever, she is going to say, "This is why I had to take my kids out of the palace." Yep, it has been delivered. At this very moment, a blacked-out SUV has just departed the gates of the Montecito mansion, leaving behind a hand-delivered, red-sealed envelope that has effectively frozen the air inside the Sussex residence. The timing is a masterpiece of cold, calculated royal statecraft. Why are Meghan and Harry so happy at the moment? Why are they briefing that they're not saying anything, while at the same time saying something via briefing? As Harry holds the document that gives him exactly 30 days to divorce Meghan Markle or face permanent erasure, his brother, Prince William, has just shattered the royal protocol of silence. Standing on the red carpet of the BAFTAs in London, the Prince of Wales looked the world in the eye and abandoned the family's famous stiff upper lip. Reports from the scene describe a man who is no longer willing to play the game of keep calm and carry on. When asked about the state of the monarchy amidst his uncle's arrest and the ongoing war with his brother, William reportedly told officials, and I quote, "This is why I had to leave. You guys thought that it was about me and about race? Nope. I couldn't have myself and my children around Andrew. I am not in a calm state. I cannot keep calm. Everything is at risk, and the limit has been reached." End quote. This is the double fracture. The palace has officially moved from a defensive posture to an offensive purge. We are witnessing the execution of Operation Cauterize. The objective is brutal and binary. Because for Harry, he believes that Andrew's downfall is going to be the opportunity for him to return. Remove the predator Andrew and isolate the traitor Harry in one single swift motion to save the 1,000-year-old institution from total collapse. Insiders within the Lord Chamberlain's office suggest that the king's patience did not just run dry, it turned into ice. During a highly classified meeting at Sandringham on February 12th, Charles reportedly sat across from William and a team of constitutional lawyers. The king's words, as recounted by those in the room, were final. "Even though my mom said it was about race, even though Oprah said it was about race, she's gonna backtrack. Yeah, she's gonna backtrack ever. I never called them racist. I needed to protect them from King Charles." He said, "We can no longer allow the infection to spread. If we do not cut the ties now, there will be no crown left for the next generation." The document delivered to Montecito today at 15:07 is identified in internal palace logs as Grey Suit Manual 01. It is a legalistic guillotine. It outlines that Harry's access to the royal trust funds, his remaining honorary titles, and even his place in the line of succession are now tied to a 30-day countdown. The condition is non-negotiable. Return to the United Kingdom alone to begin a period of royal rehabilitation, or be stripped of everything, including the Sussex dukedom, by an emergency act of Parliament already drafted and waiting for a signature. If you are just joining us, this is breaking news on February 25th, 2026. The stakes have never been higher, and the clock is ticking in real time. If you believe the king is finally taking the necessary steps to protect the monarchy, hit that like button right now. We are tracking every second of this 30-day ultimatum. Make sure you are subscribed with all notifications turned on, because the details we are about to reveal concerning Meghan's countermove will change everything you think you know about this royal war. Comment order if you stand with the king, or survival if you think the Sussexes can outrun this deadline. The brilliance of Charles's strategy lies in the psychological leverage. By timing this ultimatum with the arrest of Prince Andrew, the palace has ensured that any public outcry from Harry or Meghan will be drowned out by the much darker, more visceral scandal surrounding the Duke of York. Harry is being forced to choose his side, while his greatest enemy within the family, his uncle Andrew, is being led away in handcuffs. We are hearing reports that the atmosphere inside the Sussex mansion is one of pure, unadulterated panic. A source close to the couple claims that Meghan's immediate reaction was not one of sadness, but of strategic fury. She was overheard saying, "They are using Andrew as a shield to destroy us. They think they can bury this 30-day threat under the arrest headlines, but they have no idea what I am prepared to release." But the king has already anticipated the retaliation. By utilizing the double cauterize protocol, the monarchy is telling the world that they are cleaning house top to bottom. They are removing the moral stain of Andrew and the reputational threat of Harry in one clinical procedure. The message from London is deafening. The institution is the only thing that matters. The individuals are expendable. As William prepares to take on a more dominant role in the king's absence during this crisis, the mask of the concerned brother has been replaced by the steel of a future king. His refusal to remain calm at the BAFTAs was the signal. The war is no longer cold, it is white hot. And the first 30 days of 2026 will determine if Prince Harry remains a royal or becomes a ghost of history. Stay tuned as we dive into the specific clauses of the letter that Meghan Markle never saw coming. While the world reels from the arrest of Prince Andrew, a disturbing atmosphere of celebration is reportedly brewing within the Montecito mansion. Why are Harry and Meghan gloating during one of the darkest hours for the British monarchy? To the average observer, this looks like a family in collapse. But to Meghan Markle, this is the ultimate tactical opportunity. Behind closed doors, the Duchess is allegedly preparing what insiders are calling the Great Backtrack, a sinister pivot in their narrative that seeks to rewrite the history of Megxit entirely. According to explosive briefings from Shooter Scoop and Montecito insiders, Meghan and Harry have shifted from feeling like victims to feeling vindicated. Their current briefing strategy is transparent and, quite frankly, morally repulsive to those who have followed this saga from the beginning. For years, the world was told that they fled the United Kingdom due to institutional racism and a lack of support for Meghan's mental health. We all remember the Oprah interview, the tears, and the accusations of concerns over Archie's skin tone. But now, as the Andrew scandal reaches its horrific peak, the narrative is being surgically altered. Meghan is reportedly preparing to launch a new media project, likely a memoir or a high-stakes documentary, with a shocking new claim. The twisted plot is this. They will now argue that their 2020 freedom flight was never actually about race. Instead, they are positioning themselves as the ultimate whistleblowers. The new argument suggests that they had to extract their children, Archie and Lilibet, from the palace because they refused to allow their family to be associated with or in the proximity of a predator like Prince Andrew. One Montecito insider reportedly stated, and I quote, "Leaving wasn't an impulsive decision or a tantrum. It was about survival." Harry and Meghan knew the truth about Andrew long before the public did. They saw the cover-up happening in real time, and they realized that King Charles and the late Queen were protecting the brother at the expense of the institution's moral compass. End quote. Can you feel the audacity of this move? This is a calculated attempt to transform their image from royal destroyers to moral protectors. Meghan's team is reportedly briefing that she couldn't bear the thought of her children being around her uncle-in-law, even while the king allegedly insisted on maintaining the family's public unity. By using Andrew as a human shield, Meghan hopes to deflect from her own failures. The collapse of her Spotify deal and her plummeting popularity in Hollywood. But there's a glaring hole in this strategy that reveals the sheer hypocrisy of the Sussex camp. If they were so concerned about Andrew's alleged crimes in the palace cover-up, why was he never mentioned in the Oprah interview? Why was there no mention of this moral crusade in the 6-hour Netflix documentary? In fact, Harry and Meghan were notoriously close to Andrew's daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie. They spent years shielding Andrew from their public vitriol because they found him to be a useful ally against William and Catherine. Now, with Andrew in handcuffs, they are shamelessly weaponizing his downfall to save their own reputations. They are attempting to gaslight the global public by saying, "We told you the institution was troubled, and now you see we were right." This is not justice. It is the ultimate PR exploitation. Meghan is betting that the public's anger toward Andrew will be so intense that they will forget the lies and the betrayals she has orchestrated over the last years. It is a high-stakes game of historical revisionism that insults the intelligence of the British people and the victims of the Epstein scandal alike. The clock is ticking on the 30-day ultimatum, and Meghan Markle is choosing to go to war using the darkest shield imaginable. While Meghan Markle plots her next media blitz from the safety of her California mansion, the legal machinery in London is moving with the cold, silent efficiency of a guillotine. You have to understand, the arrest of Prince Andrew is not just a scandal, it is a legal precedent. For years, royal experts claimed that stripping a blood prince of his birthright was constitutionally impossible. They were wrong. The palace has just provided the world with a masterclass in how to erase a royal, and the Andrew test case is the exact blueprint currently being laid over Prince Harry's future. We can now reveal the internal 3-step execution plan that King Charles has authorized to sanitize the monarchy. This is how it works, and the precision is terrifying. Step 1 is the public consensus mandate. By allowing the full weight of the law to fall on Prince Andrew today, the king has secured the ultimate moral high ground. The public is not just accepting Andrew's removal, they are demanding it. By creating this atmosphere of cleaning house, the palace has neutralized any accusation of cruelty when they apply the same logic to Harry. If the king can cast out a brother for his crimes, he can certainly cast out a son for his betrayal. Step 2 is the legislative trigger. As we speak, a specialized committee within the Cabinet Office is fast-tracking an amendment to the Titles Deprivation Act. This is the legal lever that will allow the sovereign, with the support of Parliament, to formally strike a name from the line of succession and nullify a dukedom. Insiders at Westminster suggest the paperwork for both the Duke of York and the Duke of Sussex has already been drafted. Andrew is the first to go through the door, proving the mechanism works. Harry is standing second in line. Step 3 is the institutional mirror. The palace has made it clear, the rules that apply to the predator will now apply to the traitor. If Harry does not meet the 30-day deadline to leave Meghan and return to the fold, the precedent set by Andrew's removal this morning will be triggered automatically for the Duke of Sussex. There will be no need for further debate. The law will have been tested, the public will have been satisfied, and Harry will simply cease to exist in the eyes of the crown. But the most devastating blow isn't happening in Parliament. It's happening in the vaults of Coutts and Company, the most exclusive bank in the world. We have obtained a confirmed report that a financial asphyxiation order has been issued. This order has not only frozen Prince Andrew's remaining assets following his arrest, but it has been extended to the royal trust funds currently being accessed by Prince Harry. A senior source at the Treasury has reportedly stated that these accounts are now under administrative review due to the ongoing constitutional crisis. For Harry, this is a catastrophe. His lifestyle in Montecito, the security, the lawyers, the PR teams, is fueled by the very institution he is attacking. By freezing his access to these trusts at the same time as Andrew's, the king has effectively cut the oxygen to the Sussex brand. The audience needs to realize the sheer magnitude of this moment. This is the satisfaction of seeing the rules finally enforced. The king is no longer pleading, he is governing. By linking Harry's financial fate to Andrew's legal downfall, Charles has stripped away Harry's status as a special case in the eyes of the British state. He is now just another liability to be managed. The Andrew precedent has proven that no one is untouchable. And as the Coutts and Company vaults click shut, the silence coming from London is the loudest warning Harry has ever received. The mechanism is active, the precedent is set, and for the Duke of Sussex, the exit is closing. The fallout from the arrest of Prince Andrew is no longer confined to the halls of power. It is tearing through the orbital ring of the monarchy, leaving a trail of collateral damage and shattered reputations. While the king manages the constitutional crisis, we are witnessing the total psychological collapse of the House of York. Sources close to the family report that Princess Beatrice is currently on the verge of a complete nervous breakdown. As a child, she was shielded from the darkest rumors, but the reality of the handcuffs today has destroyed her world. A friend of the princess reportedly told the Royalist, and I quote, "Beatrice is horrified. She is slowly coming to terms with the enormity of her father's alleged crimes, and the process is incredibly painful. She feels the weight of the victim's suffering, but she is also a daughter watching her father be erased from history." End quote. Contrast this genuine human tragedy with the behavior of Sarah Ferguson. While her daughter is in a state of mental collapse, the Duchess of York has been spotted seeking refuge at the Paralysis Recovery Resort in Zurich, Switzerland. This is one of the most expensive wellness retreats on the planet, costing a staggering $13,000 a night. But here is the detail that will spark pure outrage. Reports suggest Fergie is staying there entirely for free in exchange for PR work. At a time when her family is in the depths of a criminal scandal, Sarah Ferguson is allegedly back to her old tricks, chasing the almighty dollar and trading on a title that is about to be stripped. This brings us to the most devastating visual of the week, the great contrast. The world has just seen two very different versions of royalty, and the results are catastrophic for the Sussex brand. In London, the Princess of Wales appeared at the BAFTAs looking every inch a future queen. Catherine chose a recycled pink Gucci dress, first worn in 2019, a masterclass in dignity, sustainability, and class. When she entered the room, the Hollywood elite didn't just clap, they stood in awe. Later at a rugby match, the adulation was visceral. Catherine was seen in the dressing room surrounded by genuine fans, her passion for the game radiating through the screen. Now, look at the alternative. In a video that has gone viral over the last 48 hours, Harry and Meghan were spotted at an NBA game in California. The contrast is humiliating. In the footage, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are seen looking back almost desperately, hoping for a reaction from the crowd or the players. But the reality was deafening. They were ignored. The players walked past them without a second glance. The Hollywood royalty narrative has been exposed as a total mirage. In the glamorous world of Los Angeles, Harry and Meghan have become just another pair of C-list celebrities struggling for a camera angle. The commercial consequence of this is a total wipeout. For so years, the Sussexes have dominated the news cycle as the world's primary victims and only royal stars. But today, that monopoly is dead. The Andrew arrest has taken all the oxygen out of the victimhood room. When people think of royal scandals now, they don't think of Harry's complaints about his bedroom size. They think of federal crimes and police cells. The victim narrative that Meghan Markle built her brand on has been dwarfed by a much darker reality. Major luxury fashion houses and streaming giants are reportedly freezing negotiations with Archewell. Why? Because the Sussexes are no longer the exclusive bridge to the crown. They are now seen as a liability. In a family that is being aggressively cleaned by the king, the value of their brand is in free fall because, for the first time, they are not the main event. They are just the unlucky satellites caught in a storm that is much bigger than their Montecito mansion. As Catherine shines and Fergie flees, the world is realizing that the Sussexes didn't escape for freedom. They escaped into irrelevance. And as the 30-day clock ticks on, the silence from the A-list in Hollywood is the most telling sign of all. The 30-day hourglass is draining sand with terrifying speed. And for Prince Harry, the silence from London is more deafening than any public shout. We have now reached the scenario tree of this crisis, the point where the path forks into three distinct, life-altering directions. But before we break down the outcomes, you must understand the new reality of the palace communication protocol. King Charles has reportedly established a wall of total radio silence. There are no more FaceTime calls to the grandchildren, no more emotional texts, and no more heart-to-heart pleas. A palace source confirms that the king has issued a standing order. All communication from the Duke of Sussex must go through the solicitors of the Crown Estate. Harry is no longer being treated as a son, he is being handled as a legal liability. This brings us to Scenario 1, the White Knight delusion. Insiders suggest that Harry is currently operating under a desperate hope that the Andrew scandal will be his salvation. His logic is flawed but simple. If Uncle Andrew is a criminal, then my media complaints must look minor in comparison. Harry allegedly believes that the king will be so desperate for a positive royal story that he will invite Harry back as a consultant or a working royal to fill the void left by Andrew's arrest. The probability of this? Less than 5%. The palace has already leaked a firm rejection of this fantasy. To the crown, Harry isn't the lesser of two evils. He is part of the same infection that needs to be cauterized. Scenario 2 is the total exile, and this is the nuclear path. In this version, Harry chooses to stand his ground in Montecito. He rejects the 30-day ultimatum and attempts to use Meghan's Andrew Shield strategy to attack the king's moral authority. He stays with Meghan and prepares for a media war. The consequence of this is what lawyers are calling the Andrew blueprint. If Harry does not comply by the 30th day, the king will trigger the same legislative mechanism used on Andrew this morning. His titles will be placed in abeyance, his children will be removed from the line of succession, and he will be formally designated as a private citizen. He will be Henry Mountbatten Windsor, a man with a massive mortgage, no royal protection, and a brand that has been legally stripped of its only value. Finally, there is Scenario 3, the Great Escape. This is the only lifeline left on the table. In this kitchen ban, Harry realizes the trap is closing. He files for divorce within the 30-day window and negotiates a secret, phased return to the United Kingdom. He returns alone, enters a period of royal rehabilitation away from the cameras, and agrees to a lifetime of silence in exchange for financial security and the preservation of his titles. This is the path the king is secretly rooting for, but it requires Harry to admit to the world that his last sow years were a catastrophic mistake. The tension in Montecito has reached a breaking point because Harry knows that Charles is no longer bluffing. By refusing to take his calls and forcing him to speak to Crown Estate lawyers, the king has removed the emotional leverage Harry has used for years. You cannot guilt-trip a legal contract. You cannot gaslight a deadline. The death scenario tree is no longer a theoretical exercise. It is the reality of Harry's next 720 hours. As the world watches the fallout of the Andrew arrest, the real drama is the choice Harry must make before the clock strikes 0. Which path will he take? The delusion of the night, the total annihilation of the exile, or the humiliating mercy of the escape? The sand is running out, and the Crown Estate is waiting for his answer. As the sun sets on this historic day of royal upheaval, the most powerful message from London didn't come in a press release or a court filing. It came from the choice of a single garment. When the Princess of Wales stepped onto the BAFTA red carpet in that pink Gucci gown, a dress the world first saw in 2019, she wasn't just recycling fashion, she was signaling institutional permanence. Catherine's choice represents sustainability, restraint, and an inner peace that remains unshaken, even as the monarchy cauterizes its own. While the Yorks are in collapse and the Sussexes are in a panic, the future Queen of England is telling the world, we are still here, we are unchanged, and we do not need to buy our relevance. Across the Atlantic, the contrast is nothing short of desperate. While Catherine exudes the quiet confidence of a woman whose place in history is secure, Meghan Markle is reportedly in a frantic, high-stakes scramble. With the royal pipeline officially frozen by the king's financial asphyxiation order, the Duchess is allegedly burning up the phone lines to Hollywood PR firms and luxury brand executives. But the doors that were once wide open are now swinging shut. The Sussex aura has been replaced by a legal contagion. Meghan is fighting to maintain a 16-bathroom lifestyle on a brand that is currently being liquidated by the British state. She is chasing the next multi-million-dollar deal to fund her security and her legal teams, while Catherine proves that true royalty doesn't need a price tag to shine. But as the 30-day clock ticks into its second day, we have uncovered a hidden clause in the king's ultimatum, a detail so precise and so devastating that Prince Harry reportedly missed it in his initial shock. This is the missing clause that changes the game for the Sussex children. We can now reveal that the document delivered at 15:07 p.m. contains a specific provision regarding the security of Archie and Lilibet. The ultimatum states that if Harry does not comply within the 30-day window, the protection detail for his children will no longer be under Sussex control. Instead, the legal authority over their security will be formally transferred to a specialized unit reporting directly to the UK Home Office and the Crown Estate. In simple terms, if Harry chooses Meghan over the king, he loses the right to dictate how and where his children are protected. The king isn't just taking the titles, he is reclaiming the institutional custody of the royal bloodline. This brings us back to that chilling moment at the BAFTAs. Why was Prince William truly not in a calm state? Why did the future king look like a man haunted by a ghost? It wasn't just the arrest of his uncle Andrew. It is because of what is hidden inside the Andrew deposition files. A set of documents suppressed for years, but now being unsealed by federal authorities following this morning's arrest. There is a name in those files, a name that connects the dark world of the York scandal to the inner circle of the Sussexes in California, a secret that could pull down even those Harry believes are his greatest allies. Was William's distress a warning to his brother, or was it the realization that Operation Cauterize is about to reveal a betrayal that no one, not even the king, was prepared for? The clock is ticking, the lawyers are silent, and the king is waiting. We will open that suppressed file and reveal the name that has the palace in a cold sweat on day 3 of the countdown. You cannot afford to miss the next update in this royal endgame. Whose side are you on in this battle for the soul of the monarchy? Are you standing with the order and discipline of King Charles? Or are you rooting for the survival of Meghan Markle against all odds? Go to the comments right now and type order or survival. Let your voice be heard in this historic poll. And before you go, hit that subscribe button for the Royal Insider Network. Turn on all notifications. When the 30-day clock hits 0, the world will change, and we will be the first to bring you the confirmation. Like this video to help us spread the truth. The countdown continues. We will see you in the next report.